Uh-oh. You know you want to?
How do I,
Do you see it?
I do.
Okay. Hopefully. Okay.
Maybe a little slow. Or maybe just my computer.
Okay. So we're just going to give people a few minutes to jump on. Looks like we've got a couple of viewers already. Welcome. Say hi if you want.
Okay, Amanda.
You can see who's on there. Okay. I think we'll give it to like 5:32.
Oh, okay. Okay. I have the sound on so I can hear you and I can hear. I heard you twice. Like in our conversation and over there. Yeah. I was like, are you repeating yourself?
You're like, I heard you the first time.
So, no.
Welcome, welcome. Hi. Hi, Amanda. Okay, so, all right, it's 5:32. We can go ahead and dive in. Welcome, everyone who's viewing. I can't, unfortunately, see who you are unless you comment and say hi. So if you want to, you're welcome to say hi. I want to, yeah. I want to first acknowledge that this is a live video, so anything that you comment will be public and will be seen by anyone. So if you do not want to be seen publicly, if you want to keep confidentiality, I recommend sending a private message to our page. You're welcome to do that. And also we'll give you phone numbers and that kind of thing to follow up with us after this, but just be mindful that this is a public video, so want to put that out there first and foremost. Yeah, so welcome. My name's Abby. I'm a victim.
I'm Chrissy.
Yes, welcome, Chrissy. And I'm a victim advocate with the Sexual Assault Support Center. Chrissy is
the Community Education Coordinator for Hope Harbour.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much for being with us, Chrissy, for joining us to talk about. There's so much to talk about right now.
Right. There's so much going on.
Yes.
How everything goes.
Yes, so much going on. So we're going to dive into as much of that as we can in our short little time here. So first, we'll take a minute and talk about our organizations. So Chrissy, what organization are you with and what is it?
So, like I said before, I'm the Community Education Coordinator for Hope Harbour. Hope Harbour is the domestic violence shelter in Columbus, Georgia, but we also service several of the surrounding counties as well. We're also doing some work with Alabama right now too. So we provide services and advocacy to those who are coming from family violence situations. And some of those services include counseling, support groups. We have child advocates, legal advocates, which we're going to talk about later, of course, a 24/7 crisis hotline, as well as our shelter where people can come to feel safe, as well as outreach services as well for those who don't necessarily need to come to the shelter. So we have a plethora of resources for people, especially covering all the things that people are concerned about when they are deciding to leave their abuser. In a lot of cases, so it's really good to be able to help people in those ways.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you guys are the real MVPs right now.
Yes, we're still here every day.
Yeah.
Still coming in every day, so but it's great. We definitely have. We have masks for our clients and our staff for whenever we go in our common areas. So we're here every day. We're still taking the precautions that are necessary.
Yes, that's so good to know. Um, we got a friend of our center made us all teal masks for,
Oh, cool.
Sam Sexual Assault Awareness Month this
Yes,
month.
and it's April.
Yes. So those are nice and cute. And so let me just clarify, your shelter is still open right now, right?
Yes, we are still open. We're still accepting people. We're not saying, oh, well, everything's going on in the world, because honestly, right now it's very pivotal and important for us to be open, because a lot of people, like, yes, the shelters in place are for our health and safety, but for a lot of people, home is not their safe place. So this can heighten abuse, but it can also decline calls that we receive because people aren't in a space or position to call by being at home with their abuser. So we're definitely staying open and willing to help anyone who needs our services and qualify for our services as well.
That's so good. So how can people contact you? Like, are there other ways other than calling?
Yes, so you can also email info@hopeharbor.org. And if you email info@hopeharbor.org, then we'll have an advocate reach out to you. If you can't, it's not safe for you to call. We've had a couple people do that since everything's been kind of closed and locked down, and we've been able to help people in that way. But then again, if you can call, you can also call our crisis hotline, which is 706-324-3850.
Say that one more time.
706-324-3850. I get the number mixed up sometimes.
I was just posting that in our comment section. That's really good. I'm glad to hear that people can email and communicate with you that way. So what does this COVID-19 pandemic mean in terms of domestic violence?
Honestly, truly, it means that it's really important for people in their communities to reach out and check in on each other. A lot of times, like I mentioned before, calls are going down. We have a lot of referrals from other areas where they're getting an increase in calls, but for us, some maybe we're not getting as many calls. But things are starting to pick up a little bit more right now. But it's just simply because people are in a situation or a safe space where they can reach out for help and assistance. So when you have family members or if you have friends, check in on them, especially if you suspect abuse. There's various signs of abuse. So which I guess I can mention those signs. So a lot of people don't know the signs. So someone who's being isolated, they're being controlled, they're not allowed to speak to their family friends, they're not allowed to have a job, things of that nature. You just notice those things, check in on them more often, have Zoom parties or FaceTime parties, text them every once a week or something of that nature, just to kind of make sure they're doing okay. That way they have someone to confide in. And if they want you to reach out to services for them or help them get in contact with services, you can do that for them. But then also it's very important for those situations to take care of their emotional and mental health as well as their physical health as well, and safety. So safety planning is very important. So if you have a neighbor or a friend that you trust, going through your safety plan with them. Who can you call if things get really bad or threats are being made? What do you pack? So if you're planning to leave your abuser, it's important to pack like your ID, birth certificate. If you have children, give them a code word. If I say pepperoni, that means that, okay, don't ask any questions, head to the car, we're leaving immediately. Things of that nature, and also knowing who you can and can't communicate with. And then also, if it's not safe to leave, you don't have the transportation or the support system, then having an emotional safety plan, which I had actually never heard of until the COVID-19 pandemic started rising, and I was seeing a lot of people, they can't communicate with their support systems. So having an emotional safety plan means just making sure that you can de-escalate the situation if possible, or go into a quiet room to kind of calm down, take a breather, find some activities to do once the abuser starts to agitate you or starts to pick fights with you and things of that nature. Whether it's coloring, going for a walk, talking to your kids, calling a friend, knitting, painting, things like that. things that everyone kind of likes to do that kind of gets you to your happy place. Um, Honestly, there's so many things that people can do. So I know I said a lot of things, but definitely safety planning, and then if you can't safety plan, definitely emotionally safety plan as well.
I love that. I've never heard it called that, emotional safety
Me
plan.
either. I was like, huh, what is this? I
Yes.
thought it was so interesting.
Yeah. And I've heard too, one thing to do is to try to make a space that's just your own. If there's an
Mm-hmm.
area where you can like close a door and just have that space totally to yourself, or,
Yeah,
15 minutes even, or an hour, whatever you have. Um,
especially if you're at home. If you're at home, you have a family. If you have kids, you might want to get away. You might want to just lock yourself in your closet, things like that. So I know if I was at home with my brothers, I would definitely lock myself in my room just for a little bit, because they talk too loud, and I'm just can't deal with it. So definitely, like you said, go close the door, lock the door for a couple minutes, just get away while you're still in the house.
yeah. Yeah. And I think it's important to remember that even though we're on kind of lockdown at the moment, that doesn't mean you can't go for walks in the neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
or um, go for a quick drive, just to get away if you have a vehicle available. But definitely walks can be a great way to protect your mental health and grab some fresh air. That
It's
kind
been
of,
really nice outside lately. Not today,
not
but
today.
every other day. Every other day. Today just makes me want to go to sleep.
Yes. True. So I have seen some statistics of the rise in domestic violence since we went into quarantine and the shelter in place. I know I've even seen some cities across the nation reporting up to 30% increases.
Mm-hmm.
And our own police captain of the Special Victims Unit mentioned a noticeable increase in reports and calls to them for domestic violence, and even some between siblings, sibling on siblings, just not getting along,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing. I know you said some days are slower for y'all, but do you have any comments on the rise or anything
So
like that?
honestly, the rise, because even when doing our police trainings, when we did a training in Alabama, the officers were saying on the weekends we get an increase in calls because people are stuck at home. They're agitating each other, they're getting into arguments. So when they're stuck in that space together, and that's just for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So imagine being stuck at home for a month. Things are definitely going to escalate, especially
Wow.
for those who are in severely aggressive situations. So it definitely is like it's definitely increasing. It's just the fact of what I mentioned earlier. Some people it's not safe for them to reach out. That doesn't mean that it's not happening. It's definitely happening, but it's just not safe for people to reach out for assistance, which is why it's important for their family and friends to check in and relay the
Yeah.
message if necessary. You need to call a shelter on three-way and you just kind of let them tell their story and explain everything to an advocate. But yes, definitely there's an increase in domestic violence. And even I was reading one article that was even saying there's an increase in child abuse, although child abuse calls and reports were being lowered because at schools, when teachers see things or when coaches and
Um,
other people see things, they report it or they're mandated reporters, but now kids are at home. So they could be
mm,
experiencing this abuse at home and no one would know because they don't have anyone to report for them or to advocate on their behalf.
wow. Wow.
So it's
So
definitely a major time for friends and family members and communities to kind of step up and advocate as well. In a safe way, of course, not confronting the abuser or anything, but also respecting that person's boundaries and what they're okay with their friends and family saying and um, wanting the situation to be approached because you don't want to put them in more danger. That's the
right.
last thing
Yeah.
you want to do.
I love the way you put that. I read an article that said the best weapon against, or the best weapon in decreasing domestic violence and sexual violence is you, in the sense that right now, especially, it is in the hands of people reaching out to people that they know, and it's really become in the hands of us as a community especially while services have gotten limited in some regard. And like you said, teachers aren't in the picture and different things like that. It really puts the ball in our court. Like, we have to make this our own, as individuals, as human beings, to care about the other humans in our lives.
Yeah, definitely. But also, and I want to emphasize this, our vigilance, but also being safe when doing so.
Yes.
Because you don't put yourself in danger, as well as anyone else. So definitely, if you know the situation is very hostile or it's something that's not going to turn out well, don't try to be the superhero in the situation. Definitely respect the boundaries. If there's a need for law enforcement to get involved, definitely make that call. They're trained to do those things. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to interfere when you don't have the necessary training and knowledge on the topic of the situation. But definitely just being supportive on that aspect, but not putting yourself in danger or risk by interfering.
Absolutely.
That can go left very quickly, especially with abusers.
Yeah.
If someone tries to interfere with their control over their victim, then it can definitely go left.
Wow. Yeah, that's important. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I definitely want to clear that up.
So in terms of the safety planning you mentioned, is that something people can call Hope Harbor and, maybe they don't need to come into the shelter, but they're like, oh, I'm in this risky situation. Would you guys help them build a step-by-step safety plan over the phone, or?
Yes, we've actually had a couple people say like they're not ready to leave or they're in a situation and they just want to know their options and things of that nature. So we've actually had advocates go through, and even people inbox us on our social media pages, and we let them know this is what you can do. This is maybe the safest way, or you just kind of outlining and letting them know this is what you should include, this is what you should be considering, and things of that nature. Because everyone's situation is different, so safety plan will look the same. If you have animals, your safety plan will look the same as someone with kids. If you're a single person, not a single person, but if it's just you, it won't look the same as someone with a kid and an animal, or a pet and things of that nature. But definitely they can do that. And we can definitely help them with that. Because honestly, at the end of the day, we just want to make sure people are safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's definitely important to ensure the safety of all those who are injured.
So, in light of the increases that we're seeing in domestic violence, and with it being Sexual Assault Awareness Month, do you have anything you could say in terms of how sexual violence and domestic violence intersect?
Yes. So, oftentimes when people hear domestic violence, they don't think of physical abuse. They don't realize that there's sexual abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's psychological abuse, there's financial abuse, physical abuse. There's all these other things that go into domestic violence, and it doesn't mean if they don't have abuse, you're not being abused. No, people in married couples, they can experience sexual abuse as well, especially those two who are younger. For young adults, they can also experience sexual abuse by intimate partners. 14 to 25% of women have experienced sexual violence by an intimate partner. Wow. So while they're in that intimate partner setting, that person has taken advantage of them, whether that's taken away their consent, rape, unwanted sexting, things of that nature. Those things have occurred. So it's definitely important to understand that domestic violence doesn't just mean physical abuse, but also sexual violence as well, and forced rape and things of that nature can also identify a high value rate as well, among other things such as throwing objects and having weapons and threatening, making threats and things of that nature too. So those can also identify the importance of someone seeking help and resources as well. So it's definitely important to keep that in mind too. But yes, there's definitely an intersection there. I feel like together we can go back and forth on Monday on how that intersection what that looks like.
Right.
But it's definitely more to it than just bruises.
Yeah. And from our end on that, I know statistics prove that anytime sexual violence is involved in domestic violence, it is absolutely a sign that there's a higher risk of lethality. And I feel like that's so important for people to know if someone is confiding in you in some way about sexual violence. It definitely picks the stakes up, and and that's somewhere where we can come in addition to the services that you guys offer, and that our hotline is still available. It's 24/7, free, confidential, and can even be anonymous. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give anything like that. And that phone number is 706-571-6010. And another service we just added with this pandemic.
Is it your online advocacy?
Yes.
Yes, I saw that. I was so excited when I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing.
Yeah, we are really excited about that. We always accept messages when people send them on Facebook and that kind of thing, but that was really not the most secure way to message. So we added a live chat every Tuesday and Thursday. It is live and immediate response from 9 to 5, where you can jump on our website and there's an immediate escape button if you need that. It'll take you out and take you to Google.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so it erases it all. Nothing is saved. It's secure. No information is saved. And again, it's free, confidential, anonymous. And you can message that chat at any time and we will get to the message. But if you want it to be live and immediate, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 to 5.
I think that's that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we do hope to add more days in the future, but for now, that's what we felt we could comfortably.
But that's good. That's good enough right now, honestly. It's definitely a step in the right direction.
Yes. So we're excited for that.
But that's really, I'm glad you guys added that. So that's really, when I saw the post, I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. And I was trying to figure out how to do that. But hopefully we can do something like that soon.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to send you the info. Okay, so we talked a little about safety planning and services. I want to emphasize too that we are still available to meet in person as well. So if you are someone who needs to get out of the house and get away for an hour or so and meet with someone, we're not licensed professional counselors, but we are advocates and we're available to meet face-to-face on a appointment basis. And so we're still meeting with people to support them, whether, oh, hi, Karen, whether that's something that recently happened or something that happened 30 years ago. We're available to support individuals in this time too, especially with all the added pressure that's going on.
And that's good. So people can have an outlet. They're not holding things in on top of the stress they're probably already feeling, being at home, having anxiety and things like that.
Yes. One thing our friends at the Family Center mentioned that I really loved, they talked about how random odd things can be triggers sometimes, like maybe your 8-year-old is now home and having to do schoolwork at home and you're trying to help them and all of a sudden you're really anxious and frustrated. And you're not necessarily sure why, but maybe a memory of like bullying in the 2nd grade pops into your head, or the frustration you had in that specific subject when you were younger. Now you're facing it again. And, that pressure can just
kind of comes crashing down.
Yeah, it can just creep in. And so it's important to give yourself affirmation that you're good enough, you're okay.
I love affirmations.
Yes, personal affirmations.
Affirmations are the best.
Yeah. Do you have any favorites?
One of my favorites is be the change you want to see in the world. Oh, that was so on the spot.
I put you on the spot.
Of course, I can't think of it right now, but that's definitely one of my favorites. Be the change you want to see in the world, and also being a voice for the voiceless. I especially like in my role, I feel like that's really important. So I definitely try to enact that on the daily.
Yeah, absolutely. So in light of what we talked about and the dangers that are going on, and being confined with someone who is potentially dangerous, I know there's been some confusion about what legal action people are able to take right now. And so is there any, I know a lot of court systems have been put on hold at the moment. What does that look like in terms of intimate partner violence and domestic violence?
So I was looking because I know I saw Shanoa, and she's one of our legal advocates. So I'm going to explain the best that I can. I'm giving her tips that she's given me. No, but there have been some changes, especially with the government limiting those who come in and out. So all TPOs are being assisted via telephone. So telephone, wow, that was such an old way to say that. Are being assisted over the phone. And so those who need assistance with a TPO can call 706-225-3519 or 706-326-4063 between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. And the legal advocate will do an intake over the phone, basically getting a summary of the situation at hand. And once they get that information, they'll present it to the judge. And the judge will review the situation based on what was given to the legal advocate by the victim who called in, and they'll either approve or deny. And if they deny, then the legal advocate will contact that person and inform them. If it's approved, the legal advocate will send it back. Send it back to the victim, have them sign it, and then they'll send it back to the legal advocate who have. I want to make sure I'm saying it the right way. Okay, I said that wrong. Okay, so once the judge approves the protective order, the legal advocate will inform the victim, and they will come in to sign the form. And once it's signed by the victim, they'll have the judge sign it. And then once it's signed by the judge, they'll send it over to the victim and have it processed in the system. And then once the victim receives it at that point, after the judge signs it, then it will be official.
Okay.
So that was a lot. But the main thing to get out of that was TPOs are still being issued and assisted with. Just call the numbers 706-225-3519 or 706-326-4063 between 9 and 4. Let the legal advocate know what's going on, and they'll present the situation to the judge, and the judge will approve or deny.
Okay.
So that's the basic gist of what's going on right now. Temporarily until things kind of get back running normally.
Yeah, and I think that was like the main point of confusion is if it was even possible to obtain temporary protective orders right now. And so the answer is yes, absolutely.
Yes, it's definitely possible. That's still up and running. Again, keeping people safe and their safety is definitely the first and foremost thing. So yes, definitely that service is still being provided, still free of charge. All of that. So yeah.
Awesome. So let's see here. Looking at my notes. I wanted to, if you're okay with it, have take at least a couple minutes and see if we have any questions come through. Do a little bit of Q&A time. That's okay?
Yeah, so fine.
Okay. So we'll just open the floor to you viewers. If anyone wants to ask a couple questions, you're welcome to. Meanwhile, I'll try to think of some.
I want to find it. I had a question on it. I feel like I answered it earlier, but it might not have been that. Such a perk having 3 screens right now.
I do have a question. In terms of safety planning, I know it's different person to person, but are there maybe like items that come to your mind that every single person should be prepared to grab in that process?
Yes. So think of what you're going to need if you need to get a job. So you'll need your birth certificate, probably, social security card, your ID. So those things will be important. Also for kids as well, because if you're leaving, you need to get them to a different school. But also having keys. If you have a storage unit, you need keys to that. If you need keys to the home that you're in. Also, any important documents. If you have a passport, a visa, and things of that nature. If you already have a TPO, also having that on you should always have that on hand. So any important documents that you can't go without, that will be kind of detrimental to your everyday or even starting over in a new journey. Those would definitely be important to have on hand. But also, I want to say, loveisrespect.org, or is it .com? I think it's .org. They have a safety planning guide. And I'm fairly confident it's loveisrespect.org. They have a safety planning guide, and they have it for if it's just you, if you have pets, if you have kids, if you say if you're in a wheelchair, if you have your parent living with you or something of that nature. Like they have an outline. You just kind of go through and fill in the blanks, and they'll kind of give you questions. Okay, you need this, this, and this. And I thought it was really cool. They have that on hand on their website.
Yeah,
so that's
really helpful
resource to have too. I'm fairly confident. Loveisrespect.org.
Yeah,
I'm fairly confident that's which one it is because they have a ton of resources on there, from dating violence to domestic violence to partner violence, everything. So.
Awesome. Well, we're almost out of time, actually. So this has been awesome. Thank you so much, Chrissy.
It's such a great idea.
Yeah. Is there any last minute things you felt like I need to mention?
I would just say, just emphasize some things. So you can definitely still get TPO between 9 and 4 p.m. Call the numbers that were given before. They're posted on the comment section. Hope Harbour is still open. The Center at 909 is still open. So definitely still reach out to our hotlines or contact us via messaging if that's safest for you. And then just check in on those around you. Maintain emotional, mental, physical health and maintenance, of course, and self-care, things like that. And just stay safe and healthy. Wash your hands, all those good things.
I heard someone even said that they set an alarm in their phone that goes off once a week to check on this one person that they know is like not in the best situation.
And that's good. I'm bad at even responding to people's messages sometimes. So I have to be it's definitely important to be intentional. So I have to even put on my calendar sometimes, check in on so and so, because I'll think about it, think I did it, and then a week later, did I do this? No, not at all. So that's a good way to be intentional about checking in on others.
Yes. All right. Well, I can't thank you enough. And like Chrissy said, we're open. Our hotline is 24 hours a day. Reach out to either of us. We're here for you. You do not have to go through this alone, especially if you're someone in a hard situation. You're not alone. And yeah, I think that's it from my end.
Yes, I think we're good. Well, thank you so much, Abby. This was great. We're going to do a part. We're going to do something else.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chrissy. Bye, Facebook. See y'all later.
Bye, everybody.